Alrighty, Chris Campbell here, and Campbell's Antique Clock and Watch Repair of Anderson, South Carolina. We have now been working on rebuilding a very, very old 1770s grandfather clock. And it's now been running for about a week on our wall. This is by far one of the most expensive repairs that we've had to do to date. We had to end up cutting 3 new gears, putting in a couple of bushings, and completely polishing all the pivots. And now this is the final product right here. It is now have been running, like I said, for over a week. We have the massive pendulum. We have the weight and the pulley. And our 3 gears. We have gear number 1, gear number 2, and gear number 3 that we had to manufacture for this clock. We also had to put in a bushing here behind the minute hand. We've also got a washer here on the front, and we had to polish all of the pivots. But this thing is running great. And there's the seconds hand. This clock has not been running for many years, according to the customer. The grandfather case stands over 7 feet tall. This is the movement just from the case, and it was made in exactly 1770. So way before the Revolutionary War of 1776. This is a beautiful, beautiful clock. Oh my gosh, a massive piece of art and work. And just the pendulum itself weighs 15 pounds. That's impressive. But it has now been running. This is by far one of the most expensive clock repairs that we have ever done. The total bill for this one is right at $1,000 to do the work that we have done, cutting the 3 gears, doing the polishing pivots, the service and new strings cable, reworking the weights, reworking the pendulum, doing a suspension spring, also working the escapement wheel, the verge, or the deadbeat verge, as we can see here. This has taken us about 3 weeks of hard labor and work, but it was well worth it. This is a beautiful piece that needs to be in a museum. The customer's going to be glad to have this clock back in their case working once again. But yeah, this one was definitely a challenge, mainly because of this wheel here. This wheel is way oversized, so I ended up having to use one of our larger lathes to cut the gear and use our milling machine to mill out the brass plate, because this actually came from a 12 by 7 inch piece of brass raw stock. And the same with the other gears. We had to cut and mill out those gears and then put them into our gear cutting machine to cut the teeth, the arbors, and then put in the new pivots. So this was a very, very undertaking job. But it has paid off, and it's working now stronger than ever. So the customer's picking this up this coming weekend, and going to be putting it into their case. But man, what a beautiful, beautiful piece of history. This is what you would actually call a skeleton size or style clock movement. It's very simple. It's very ornated, as you can see in the gears. They're all got, each place has got their own little gears. Like up here at the top, we have the escapement wheel. Here we have our 2 wheels that runs the seconds hand. Then we have the second hand arbor with the second hand, the 3rd wheel, the great wheel, and the intermediate wheel. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful clock. So if you need any antique clock or watch repair, come see us today at Campbell's Antique Clock and Watch Repair of Anderson. We are the state's largest clock and watch maker. We can do making of gears, making of dials, hands, etc. Give us a call today. That's why we are the Upstate's #1 clock and watch maker. So if you have an antique clock or watch that needs to be repaired, serviced, give us a call today. 864-608-5095. Have a wonderful evening.